Good morning students. In the previous session we have studied the structure and functions of vacuoles, mitochondria and lysosomes. Now we'll see the structure and function of plastids. And the organelle which gives colors and which is present only in the plant cell, it is called plastid. Plastid is present only in plant cell which gives colors to the plants. It is called plastid. Plastids have double membrane and are of two types. And the structure of plastids is it is a double membrane and it is present only in plant cells. The organelle which gives colors and which is present only in the plant cell is called plastid. Plastids have double membrane and are of two types. Now there are two types of plastids that we will see now. So this is about structure of plastids. Now we will see which are the two types of plastids. The first one is leucoplast and the second one is chromoplast. Leucoplast means white or colorless plastids. Leucoplast means the white or the colorless plastids. And the chromoplast means colored plastids. So these are the two types of plastids. Because of the plastids the plants gets its colors. Okay. And there are two types of plastids. Leucoplast which is colorless or the white color plastid, and the second one is chromoplast which is colored plastids. Chloroplast can get converted into other types of chromoplast. Chloroplast can get converted into other types of chromoplast. Now one example is given. Raw green tomatoes turn red due to breakdown of chlorophyll and synthesis of lycopene. So example is given, the raw green tomatoes they turn into red color due to the breakdown of chlorophyll and the synthesis they produce lycopene, synthesis of lycopene. So because of this only the color of the tomato gets changed from green to red. Okay, so these are the types of plastids. The first one is leucoplast and the second one is chromoplast. Okay, white or the colorless plastids are called as leucoplast and the colored plastids are called as chromoplast. Now this table shows the color of the plant part and pigment. Okay, so green color of the leaves, it is due to the chlorophyll pigment. The chlorophyll pigment which is present, because of these only the leaves will get green color. The second one is carotene, that is orange color. Example is carrot. Okay, so because of the carotene pigment the carrots gets orange color. Now the next pigment, that is xanthophyll. Because of the xanthophyll pigment the plant gets yellow color. Now the next one is anthocyanin. Because of the anthocyanin the plants gets purple or the blue color. And the last one is betaline. Because of the betaline the plant gets dark pink color. Example is beet. Okay, so this is the pigments. Because of these pigments only plants will get its color. Because of the chlorophyll the plants gets green color. Because of the carotene the plants will get orange color. The example is carrot. Okay, next xanthophyll. Because of the xanthophyll pigment the plants will get yellow color. Because of the anthocyanin the plants will get purple or the blue color. And because of the betaline the beet gets dark pink color. Okay, so this is about pigment and the color of the plant parts. Now the next one, that is chloroplast. Now we will see the structure and functions of. So till now we have seen the plastids, its structure and its function. Because of the plastids color. Okay, now chloroplast. Chloroplasts are important for the photosynthesis. Chloroplast for the photosynthesis process that takes place in the leaves. Yes, that we have studied in the previous standards also, photosynthesis. So chlorophyll in chloroplast traps solar energy and converts it into chemical energy. So chlorophyll which is present in chloroplast, they will trap solar energy, they will absorb the solar energy and it gets converted into which energy? Chemical energy. And because of this process only it is called as photosynthesis. Using this process, using photosynthesis, plants make their own food. Stroma in the chloroplast contains enzymes, DNA, ribosomes and carbohydrates that are necessary for photosynthesis process. So this is about chloroplast. Chloroplasts are important for the photosynthesis process that takes place in the leaves. Chlorophyll in chloroplast traps solar energy. The chlorophyll which is present in the chloroplast, they will absorb the solar energy and they will convert this solar energy into chemical energy. And stroma in the chloroplast contains enzymes, DNA, ribosomes and carbohydrates that are necessary for photosynthesis process. Now, what are the functions? The functions are, the first one is chloroplast converts solar energy to chemical energy, that is food. So this process is called as photosynthesis. Using this process, plants make their own food. So this is the first function. Chloroplast converts solar energy into chemical energy, that is they are making their food. Then the second one is chromoplast give different colors to flowers and fruits. Chromoplasts, they give different colors and different colors to flowers and fruits. Because of the chromoplast which is present, because of chromoplast, the plants will get different colors. Then the next one, third function is leucoplasts are involved in the synthesis and storage of food like starch, oils and proteins. Leucoplasts which is present, they are involving in the synthesization and storage of food like starch, oil and proteins. So these are the functions. The first function is chloroplast convert solar energy into chemical energy. Then because of this, the plants will get different colors, okay, and the fruits and flowers also get different color because of the chromoplast. Then the third one is leucoplasts are involved in the synthesis of and storage of the food like starch, oil and proteins. Now this is the structure of chloroplast. As you can see here, this is thylakoid, then intermembranous space, this is outer membrane and this is inner membrane, and the space between outer membrane and inner membrane, this is intermembranous space, okay. And this is stroma, this is granum and okay, inner membrane and outer membrane, okay. So this is the structure of chloroplast. This is stroma, as you can see here. Then this is thylakoid, this is outer membrane and this is inner membrane, and in between there is a intermembranous space. So till now we have seen the structure and functions of plastids and chloroplast, okay. Now so till now we have seen the structure and functions of different cell organelles like nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, that is ER, Golgi complex, lysosomes, vacuoles, mitochondria, and today we have seen the structure and functions of plastids and chloroplast, okay. I hope you are clear till here. So these are the cell organelles. We have studied the structures and functions of cell organelles. Before that, in this lesson we have studied the different components of cell like cell wall, plasma membrane or cell membrane and cytoplasm. I hope you remember this, okay. Now the next and the last part from lesson number 10 is mitochondria and plastids can produce proteins as well as reproduce themselves as they have their own DNA and ribosomes. Mitochondria and plastids, these are the cell organelles. They can produce proteins as well as they can replicate themselves as they have their own DNA and ribosomes. After studying the cell and cell organelles, we must know that all the functions in plant and animal cells smoothly due to the cell organelles. All the functions, all the processes in plant and animal, they of the cell organelles. Such developed cells are called as eukaryotic cells, and such developed cells are called as eukaryotic cells. Last year you have studied prokaryotic cells of bacteria. Let's now compare them. Now we will see the comparison or the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So such developed cells, what we have learnt in the lesson, they are called as eukaryotic cells, and in the previous year we have studied about prokaryotic cells which are present in the bacteria, okay. Now we will see the comparison between prokaryotes and eukaryote cells. So this is the difference between eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. The first one is size. the size of the eukaryotic cell is 5 to 100 micrometer, and the size of the prokaryotic cells which is present in the bacteria, that is 1 to 10 micrometer. Okay, so what is the size? The size of the eukaryotic cell is 5 to 100 micrometer, and prokaryotic cell is 1 to 10 micrometer. Now the number of chromosomes more than one. In eukaryotic cells they have more than one chromosomes, and in prokaryotic cells they have only one chromosome. Now the next one is nucleus. With nuclear membrane, nucleolus and nucleoplasm. Eukaryotic cells present nucleus with the nuclear membrane, nucleolus and nucleoplasm, and in prokaryotic cells nucleoid resembling nucleus. Okay, now the next point is mitochondria and plastids present in the eukaryotic cells. They don't have membrane bound cell organelles. In prokaryotic cells they do not have membrane bound cell organelles. An example of eukaryotic cell is they present in highly evolved unicellular and multicellular plants and animals. And prokaryotic cells, they present in bacteria. So this is the comparison between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. Okay, the first one is size, then the number of chromosomes, nucleus, then the cell organelles, and the last one is examples. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. So here we have completed lesson number 10, cell and cell organelles. We have studied different components of cell, its structure and functions. Then we have studied the different functions and structure of the different cell organelles. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. So today we will stop till here. In the next session we will start with the next lesson. Thank you so much.